Power. Power has always been a big part of Touhou, and it really shows. Touhou is literally full of characters that could wipe the floor with Goku's, Superman's or Saitama's ass. I would even say that the strongest fictional characters come from Touhou, but who is the strongest one? And now anyone who said anything related to Chirno, get the fuck out of here! No, this isn't going to be related to Chirno in any way. In fact, this is hardly theory either, but we'll go with Touhou theory for now. But anyhow, this video is about what I believe are the strongest characters in Gensokyo, about their powers and possible weaknesses and counters. Also notify that the characters that are listed here aren't in any particular order, so without any further ado, let's get started. So, I said that these characters aren't in any particular order from weakest to strongest, but I'll still start with the two characters that were just barely able to get to this list. I'm not saying that these are weaker than the characters that appear later in the list, but I just thought that it would be worth mentioning. So, the first one to be introduced is Koishi Komeiji, the Closed Eyes of Love. As you can see, we are starting really strongly here. Or you may not see, because that's what Koishi does. You see, because Koishi has closed her third eye, she cannot be detected by any other living thing unless you have direct eye contact to her, but you will forget her as soon as you look away from her unless she wants otherwise. Because after she closed her third eye, she lost the ability to read the minds of the other living beings, but gained the ability to read and control subconsciousness, which allows her to see her enemies' greatest and deepest fears, well, assuming that all her opponents have fears, which gives her upper hand against most of her opponents. But even if she has pretty strong ability without any real counter, she still lacks raw power that many other characters on this list have. Next up on our list is Fujiwara no Moko, the figure of person of Hourai. I had really hard time choosing between Moko and Kaguya, and in the end I decided to choose Moko because of her more direct power. Well, with Moko it's pretty clear why she is here. Her immortality gives her really great vantage, well, literally against anybody. Also, in the urban legend in Limbo, her fire controlling powers were devastating. But even if she is Hourai immortal, that doesn't mean that she can fight forever. Because immortal as she may be, she is still a human, and only human on this list. And she feels as much pain as normal human would feel when fighting against Yukai and other beings, which means that she can only fight as long as she can withstand the pain, which will be horrific. Also, it is unknown how her immortality would work against Flandre's destruction ability, because it's stated in the perfect memento in the strict sense that when Flandre crushes the eye of someone or something, she actually erases the target's existence. So we could assume that Flandre would be Moko's greatest counter. The third character on our list is Yuyuko Saigochi, the Dreaming Ghost. Yuyuko is here for one simple reason: her dreadful ability to end the life of anything if she so wants. There isn't much to say about her in general. Her powers in general aren't that great, but her ability in itself is powerful enough to get her to this list. Her ability only has one downside: it doesn't affect Hourai immortals, so Moko or Kaguya wouldn't have any hard time against her. The fourth on our list is our dear reporter Aya Maru, the traditional reporter of fantasy. Aya really doesn't like fighting, so her true powers are a bit obscure, but Zun has stated that because of her really old age of over 1,000 years, she is really powerful just by herself. On top of that, she is known to be the fastest person in Gensokyo with speed that's at least, are you ready? 10,000 kilometers per second. Per second. Only creature that comes even close to her speeds are vampires, but they still are no match for Aya. Only counter that I can think of is either Yukari because of her gaps or Sakuya because of her time controlling ability. The fifth character on our list may be a bit of surprise, but let me explain. The fifth one is the one and only Yugi Hoshikuma, the so-called unexplainable phenomenon. I bet that it sounds weird to have third stage boss on the strongest characters list, but bear with me. Well, first of all, she's an Oni, which in itself gives her great physical and magical strengths, but there's more to it. Yugi is also called with the name Yugi the Strong. Ringing any bells yet? Yugi is physically the most powerful character in Touhou franchise. I think that her powers are almost always underestimated and she deserves a lot more recognition from Touhou community. Her physical strength is said to be enough to make buildings collapse with a single footstep. So she's pretty damn strong, but still, like every other Oni, she has one really silly weakness. Fried beans. It's really sad that so mighty being as an Oni would have so cunning weakness, but we just have to live with it. The sixth character on our list may also be a bit of surprise, but don't worry, I'll explain. The sixth person is Ran Yakumo, the Shikigami of the Gap Yukai. Well, Ran herself doesn't have any overpowered abilities, but her raw magical power and superb knowledge gave her a spot on this list. Maybe the greatest advantage of her is that she's Yukari's Shikigami, which in simplicity means that when she's following Yukari's orders, she'll gain powers equal to her master. But this has a really clear weakness, because if she's as powerful as Yukari only when she's following her orders, that means that she can never beat Yukari, but when put up against someone else, Ran will be an opponent to be feared. The seventh character on this list, the character that I hate them second most just after Tenshi, is Eikishiki Yamaksanaru, the Supreme Judge of Paradise. She herself, like Ran, doesn't have any flashy abilities to shine on this list, but her overwhelming magical powers earned her spot on this list. She is actually so powerful that even Yuka out of all Yukai claims that the battle between them was the battle between the two most powerful beings in Gensokyo. But many Yukai and humans have claimed to be the most powerful in Gensokyo, so it's up to you to decide if she is the most powerful. But still, even I can't deny that she wields pretty OP strengths. And just like Koishi, she doesn't have any real counters, which gives her even stronger position on this list. But now it's time to get serious here, because the eighth person on our list is the infamous Suika Ibuki, the tiny night parade of 100 demons. Well, it should be pretty clear why she is here. Like Yugi, she has the great magical and physical powers of Oni, and she's known to be physically almost as powerful as Yugi, but her true strengths come from her ability to control density and spareness, which in simplicity means that she can make objects larger, smaller, to turn objects into vapor, copy herself, change her own size, and she's even able to create small black holes. She is stated by Aya to be the most powerful being in Gensokyo, but it can be expected from Aya because Aya is a Tengu, and the Tengu once were subordinates of Oni, so it would be just normal for Tengu to fear her. But sadly, just like Yugi, she has this ridiculous weakness for fried beans. Seriously, whoever created Japanese folklore really should have thought a lot more reasonable weaknesses than fried beans. As we get to the last three characters of our list, it's time to talk about the ninth character on this list, Yuka Kazami, the Flower Master of Four Seasons. Well, there's no doubt that Yuka has really earned her spot on this list. She is easily the strongest character from PC 98 era, and she was the original character to use the infamous Master Spark. And those of you who thought that Marisa's Master Spark was tremendous, well, think again, because with the powers of Yuka, that iconic spell gives a new meaning for word power. But the Master Spark isn't the only thing that gives Yuka a spot on this list, no. The true reason is her unbelievable magical strength that I think surpasses even the powers of Eiki. Also, she is able to copy herself, and when she does that, both of them are her true self. She also possesses a parasol that can be used as a weapon and shield. She's also one of those characters who lack any kind of weaknesses, so there isn't any real counter for her. She really is something, isn't she? I'm pretty sure that you all saw this one coming, but the 10th character on this list is who else but Flandre Scarlet, the sister of the devil. Flandre may just be the character in Touhou franchise who has the biggest number of abilities, so let me list them here. She has Vampire's natural speed of Tengu and strength of Anoni, Vampire's regeneration ability. As a vampire, she is agelessly immortal and has resistance for every disease. She, like her sister, is completely immune to holy objects from any religion. She is capable of shape-shifting into a bat or pure Danmaku. She can make 3 clones out of herself, which have semi-independent minds. She has the sword of Norse god Loki, the Leviathan, and the best part is that she is able to destroy/erase the existence of literally anything, be it a person or object, just by squeezing her hand. So apparently being a vampire, one of the most overpowered creatures in Gensokyo, wasn't enough, so Zoom decided, let's just make a character whom powers don't nearly have any limits. But thank god, she has 3 major weaknesses: sun, flowing water and silver. But unfortunately, those powers that Flandre is weak against are wielded by characters that really wouldn't stand a chance if they battled against her, even when using Flandre's weaknesses. Flandre's biggest counters are Sakuya Izayoi because of her silver knives, Sunny Milk for her power to use sunlight, and Nitori Kawashiro for her water controlling ability. It's also worth to notify that Flandre has never been seen under red, full or even moon itself, so true extent of her powers are unknown. Scary thought, isn't it? And finally, last but not least, the 11th character on our list is the one and only Yukari Yakumo, the border of phantasm. Where do I even begin with her? Her magical powers are said to be unimaginable even amongst the other Yukai, and don't get me even started with her physical strength that are extraordinary for any Yukai that isn't either Oni or vampire. She also has the greatest intelligence in the whole Gensokyo, surpassing even Eirin, whom is said to be the brains of Lunar Capital. And then there's her ability to have full control of any and all boundaries. So in the other words, if something has even some kind of boundary, she can control it, be it a physical, mental or even spiritual thing. Only theoretical counter for her could be Flandre because of her ability to erase existence, and that's only because Yukari states in her own winning quotes in Immaterial and Missing Power that she has no weaknesses and even shooting, cutting, stabbing, hitting or killing her is useless, and because it's stated in her profile that since existence of anything consists of having a boundary, for anything to lose its boundary is a very big thing, as it would not be able to have its own individual existence. And remember that that's only a theoretical counter for Yukari, and also like with Flandre's powers, the true limits of Yukari's powers are also unknown, because she is known to never use her true strength against anybody and usually just ends up fucking around with her opponent. So here you have it, 11 characters that I believe are the strongest in Touhou franchise, and now it's up to you to decide who you think is the strongest, because everyone has their own opinion about that. Also, I think that it would be good to have few honorable mentions about characters that were almost able to have their spot on this list but weren't quite able to do so. So here are some. Reim Hakurei, the Shrine Maiden of Paradise. Marisa Kirisami, the Ordinary Magician. Shinki, the God of Makai. Remilia Scarlet, the Scarlet Devil. Erin Yakukoro, the Brain of Moon. Hekatia Lapis Lazuli, the Goddess of Hell. Suvaku Maria, the highest of native gods. Kaguya Horizon, the Eternal Princess. And Utsuho Ryuichi, the Scorching, Troublesome Divine Flame. So I think that this quite covers everything that there is to say about this topic. But be sure to leave your opinion about the strongest Touhou characters, because I'm eager to hear them. But for now, I have to bid you farewell. My name is Touhou, and we'll see you in the next video.